Welcome back to A Windy City They Tan Watch, the channel where truth meets freedom, right here in the heart of Chicago. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, interviews, and insights. Your support fuels our fight for freedom and truth. So, let's dive into today's journey, armed with knowledge and the relentless spirit of the Windy City.
Howdy everybody, Windy City Thetan Watch, coming to you live on Monday afternoon. We're just a few days removed from Boobgate. Head over to the org, see if Chadwicke has any interest in my boobies. We're just now underneath the metro track, so we should be coming up. We'll be seeing the alley first, and I'll turn the camera around. If you're in here live, definitely helps if we can press that like button. And for you on the replay crew, like button's always an option for you, but also comments are very helpful. I've got a new short series coming out with some of the crimes of Scientology. I think there's about 33 videos on that. Hey, Bob, how are you? Hello, Susan. I'm going to turn the camera around real quick just so that we can see down the alleys. And we'll start on telephoto and see how well that works for us today. No activity down here in the alley right now. I'm not seeing any suits or gold vests, white sleeves yet. Coming up on Clark Street. We'll head over and get the shades down. Looks kind of quiet. It's kind of threatening to drizzle. Like there's drops coming down. It's not much. Got one following right now. I'm going to make a little distance between me and the person following me. Yesterday, Saturday, saw that Helgier had noticed this, right? The Scientology billboard. Don't have access to a Phil Jones here, so we couldn't get it before them. Looks like no security, and the doors are open right now. Care to share anything positive about your cult? Is there anything positive about your cult? All right, we've got somebody in here. They're on their own little personal device, but that looks like probably somebody who's, hello, Lynn, probably looking at videos, watching the videos. So we've got the front desk here. Not sure who that is. We've got two people at the front desk, and somebody just walked all the way to the back. Ooh, and I'm starting to see a couple of new things here. So we used to only have English language books here. So I'm going to go with that and Arabic language. But then there's another beautiful language over here. No idea what that is. And then if we look all the way back, those doors are closed as well. My powers are not strong today. Oh, here's skateboard guy. Good day at the cult today? You know it's a cult, right? Have you paid the money yet? Or are you going to keep paying the money? Got one of my wires on the bike here. Howdy, Marilyn. How are you? Is that what that is? Michael, Ty? That's interesting. Yep. Howdy, Marilyn. There we go. I was feeling a little bit depleted. Was my SP not in shape? This is a new face, by the way. I don't recognize this person from so far. We have a new person on Shade Tech. The doors should probably come closed pretty quickly. It looks like they're low on staff right now, at least on the first floor. We're only seeing the two people at the desk. There was somebody sitting at a bay, but she had her back to the video, so I don't know. Is she calling an Uber to leave later on? Looks to be public. Had street clothes on or civilian clothes on. As I look up, we've got the shades open on the second floor. That room is a very large room. It looks more like a conference room almost, if we look at that. Sorry, I've got some college students, so I might go up on you again. Not intentional. I just don't like to put pressure on the neighborhood. You know, they don't like that their lives are on camera all the time. Howdy, over and out. Good to see you again. Got a couple college kids coming through, and then some folks from the south side coming through. There was no activity in the back alley when I approached, so nothing there. We have a slight drizzle, so I don't know if they'll have body routers out today. Now, I will say that from my running history, I usually tell people that most humans are waterproof, so rain shouldn't bother us. This morning, if you were watching Natalie, there's been mention about, I've had some success in trying to hem their body routers in. Their body routers won't come out if I'm out here. Now, if they're away from the org, they'll feel comfortable, but they won't come out if they're here. And I just want to say again that if you believe in the tech, why don't you think your conversation to the raw meat is going to defeat my conversation to the raw meat? Debate me if you're not a cult. Just looking down the street here, as we go across the street, right, we've got Imprint. There's nobody really coming out there. 3:30 is kind of a time when we start to see Publix coming in for course in this space. You know it's a cult, right? You know that's a cult, right?
Yeah, the Tom Cruise cult.
Yeah. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Absolutely. Now, one of the stats is people in the door, and my goal is to make sure they can't get people in the door. For anybody who ever wants to come out and come with me, you don't need a camera to stop them from recruiting. You just need to be able to contact anybody they hand a flyer to and let them know about the crimes and the activities of the church. All right, I'm not seeing much right here. I'm going to take a really quick run around the corner. So, yeah, she's Sea Org. Not Sea Org staff, sorry. Howdy, Dorothy. And by the way, I feel really bad when I use the term raw meat. It's one of the most degrading things I can think of, but I understand it's their term. You know, I wish there was a more civilian sensitive term that we could use. And for the most part, it's, whether it's novices or initiates or recruits, that's kind of where I'm looking at it. My expectation is I am not going to help bring down the cult by drawing existing members out. I'm going to always give them the option. I've always said anytime you need help, we're more than happy to help you. I've given them SPTV Foundation information. I've given them Aftermath Foundation. I'll say I'm finding it harder and harder to support Aftermath. I want them to be able to do good. It's really hard to live with the behaviors that they've got going on. So I'm going to tell you that the vast majority of people that are in this neighborhood are still fully unaware that Scientology is here. That more than half the people that I'll say, hey, did you know this was the Church of Scientology? They look at it and they get, the eyes pop out and they go, oh, I didn't know that. The other thing that I'll say is that we are inside of a bubble. We keep on hearing about the poor practices of the cult and the behaviors and attitudes of what's going on here. And we think that everybody knows this stuff. They don't. Most people are largely unaware as to what's going on with Scientology. They might know Tom Cruise, but that's about as far as it goes. And it's just, oh, that's that neat thing or goofy thing that Tom Cruise does. So, yeah, 100%. It's a very dehumanizing statement. Now, one thing I will say is that the body routers, when they know I'm out here, if they've got people that are on appointments, they will call those people and you can see them route them through the alley. So again, it's just that when I have the call to actions out there, I'm asking for people to come here. And if you just stand at the front door, then I can be at the back door. And both of us now have an opportunity to chat with anybody who's trying to go into the organization. If we, if I'm out in front, their smart play, and again, I don't know how good their phone tree works, but their smart play is to send everybody in the back. And there have been several times where I've been the only one out front, or there have been two of us out front, or as soon as somebody else comes up out front, I'll hustle around back, and you'll see 8, 10 people back there, whether it's smoke breaks or that's their way to leave the organization so that they can get to their birthing. I'm telling you, you're going to feel good about it. It's an effective mechanism to be able to just shutter them into that building. There may be some of you unaware, but I'd say that's surprising. So we're over on Dearborn now, and I'm not seeing any suits here, so we'll come back in at the bottom of Clark Street on Polk. There are 2 more building Scientologists enter. So they may be getting pressure at Imprint. I don't know if Imprint's forced them out or if they've just decided they don't want to be that close. If they're in the Imprint building, they have to suffer the protesters all the time. If they're a little bit further away, because the Imprint is right across the street, so there's no escaping us. If they're coming from a little bit further away, they can get really close to the org before we really detect them. Thank you, Jules. Yet, Dorothy, I want to be as informative and as... I want to be truthful. I don't want to exaggerate what's going on. I've heard several people make mention of the fact that they do such and such. And in reality, they don't do that. And if you're making that lie, let's see here, if you're enlarging the truth in that manner, you lose credibility, I think. And I would rather be as credible as possible. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I've said something incorrect, but I've never intentionally tried to tell a lie to anybody that's coming through here. The one that bothers me the most is that many people still believe that the cameras that are outside of Columbia College were placed there by the Church of Scientology. And those cameras were placed immediately following the riots of George Floyd when there were the protests in downtown Chicago. And while Scientology owned the building, Scientology was not down here in 2019 and in 2020. So they were still up in Lakeview. There may have been construction going on down here, but there would have been no Scientology or Scientologists down here. We're seeing Dearborn Station with the clock tower. This is a deprecated rail station. It's now just commercial retail space inside. There's a bar Louie in there. I think there's hot yoga, a medical clinic, like an urgent care clinic. We're making our way back to Clark Street. Just to let you know, a little synopsis of what we had so far. When I first got here, the doors and shades were open. Probably took them 3 or 4 minutes to pull the shades down. So maybe I've got a cold or something. Yeah, and I do believe that while they do victimize others, they're victims themselves. Right? I don't think that they truly have any understanding they might be doing something wrong, drawing somebody else into this cult. They've been taught certain things, they believe those things, and just as they're trying to save the world, they believe that they're drawing more people in to save the world. I will say that when they're engaging raw meat recruits, however you want to term it, they're telling them the nicest things, right? Way to happiness, how to gain wealth. And by the way, they actually don't have a way to gain wealth. They use, darn it, the statistic when you only pick the winners for your example set. So it's selective data that shows that Scientologists make a lot of money. Right? You always pick the Grant Cardones, the ABC Mouse, the people that I think it was Natalie. No. Who works for the company up in Vermont? Maybe it was Jenna was doing that, but there was a wealthy family up there as well. Hey, Marilyn, I don't know if you had seen it, but when I was in Tokyo, oh, here's Jess. You know, it's a cult, right? Just a cult. They're just giving you cultic information there. Do some research. Do any research. Do any research you can. It's widely available. They gave you the personality test. They're going to ask you to buy a book. Every time you come back, you're going to have to spend more money. It's just an elevator system, an escalation system. She won't debate me. She won't refute anything I'm saying. She can't talk to me. So that's the cult that you're trying to get involved with. They're the most ethical people on the planet, but they can't even talk to me. Good luck. Hopefully you saw him stick his thumb out. And folks, that's as simple as it is to just pass information to these people that are victims. Marilyn, what I was going to say is that when I was in Japan, there's a Hermes store, which I know it's high-end something. I have no idea. I buy blue jeans and sweatshirts. But they had knotted ropes that were like crochet, and it was red and orange, and it reminded me so much of the crochet and the yarn work that you do, and that was available back in the Mark Claire Mike days. I sent you a picture, but I'm sure that you get about 1 billion emails a day. Folks, all I really want that person to do is when they get home, do 2 Google searches and find out that it is a cult. Here's another one that was in there. You know they're a cult, right? You know they're a cult. They're just going to take your money. Are you still using your reactive mind? Are you mocking up your reactive mind? Are you still using it? So she was the one that was sitting inside when I first approached the building. Also, look how labor intensive we've made recruiting as well. So I don't know if you can really tell, but right, this is 200 numbers worth of blocks. So this is 2 blocks that the street that the church is on. So it's right in the middle of the 2 blocks. Jessica and the person before that, who also walked somebody out, has to walk all the way down to the bottom of the street in order to keep these people out of the protesters' earshot, shall we say. So even if there is any success with that person, the amount of labor that it takes to go down there rather than just, chat with them indoors here and send them out is helpful, right? That if we drive up their labor costs, and I know that they don't pay labor, but the idea that their man hours are so ineffective because they have to put so much effort into trying to recruit people. Yeah, most of the people have that zombie look. All of the members will headphone, or they'll fake their phone as they leave. They're going to fake that they're on the phone in that process. They're just they're taught not to listen to us, and they're even taught that we're criminals, thieves, thugs, liars. Now, we're liars, but they're taught to tell acceptable truths. And in everybody's vernacular, an acceptable truth is a lie, right? Darn it, is it Aaron Kyrie or whoever the San Francisco executive director is? Oh, no, I'm not the leader of Scientology, which is not the question you asked. You asked if I was the leader of Scientology in San Francisco, but I'm not the leader of Scientology. I don't know how anybody could say that, right? I'm going to go up a little bit. We've got some just civilians in the neighborhood. Howdy, Sar. Welcome. I truly appreciate that. And yeah, I like that. That is the right term. Yeah, catatonic. Yeah, I still love the fake yawning. Aaron Cairo, thank you. Howdy, no one. Pleasure to have you in. This weekend, we had a bit of an episode. I'm sure that most of you are aware, but there was the most incidental of contacts that took place here on the sidewalk. There was some chalk going on. Chadwicke was trying to remove the chalk. Yeah, you're right. I've got a great shirt coming from Declare Dave. Declare Dave made a yawn shirt for us. I'm sure we'll see Chad eventually. And it was the most incidental of contact. The contact was actually between the protesters' bosom and Chadwicke. Now, I will say that Chadwicke was moving forward when the contact took place. However, the police did arrest and hold for 5 to 6 hours Nance while this was going on. When Nance came out, there is a court date, so she will go to court. We still don't know if the city prosecutor is going to file charges or not. I'm unaware if there's a PPA in Chicago, the same as there is in Los Angeles, but there might be something like that. Oh, and something I want to kind of be a challenge to everybody. A challenge to everybody. Have you written your email to Bill Conway of the 34th Ward yet? Have you written your email to Mayor Brendan Johnson? Have you notified COPA of the abuses that went on here? I'm going to keep on challenging that because I want them to be flooded by this. I don't want them to understand that there might have been 3 people that knew this happened. Thank you, mods. No problem. We're good. Thank you, mods, for helping me out with that contact info. I'll go ahead and put it up on screen, but I think it's hard to pull off of the replay. Well, I guess you can pause to get it off the replay. Here's the alderman and the mayor's offices. Now, in the old days, we would have said a citizen's arrest. Yeah, my hope that it is thrown out, Tim. But you just never know how much pressure Scientology can exert. Yeah, Hell's got some of the best video because it's continuous through the contact. Another reminder, if you are out protesting, try to come in groups. Don't be a gang, come as individuals. But if you know that other people are going to be out there, if you ever see any kind of close contact, conversation or otherwise, with any of the other protesters, try to make sure that you're getting an establishing long shot on them. It's very important that we have the faraway access, right, or the lengthy access so you can see the entire body, and any movement is much more easily discernible and able for police and prosecutors to refute the lies of Scientology. And I appreciate it. We got several new members on Saturday night. Absolutely appreciate that. It helps with the budgeting. I do have some chalk coming. Thank you, Jules. That's awesome. I so appreciate that. I'm a little bit, you should get a different badge than the S button. I'll also have to reach out to Marilyn on that because I think that she goes hog wild on creating new badges and new icons, emojis, I guess. I think usually in most of my videos, you know what? I didn't do it in this video description. Hey, Corn, how you doing? Hopefully you're resting up from a long and arduous weekend. I really appreciate you, Heligear, and Juanita being out there the whole time and supporting, making sure that Nance was being taken care of. And hopefully your presence was known even when she was being locked up, that she was going to come out to friends. If you're newer to the channel, I've gone north on Clark. Right across the street, you see the bar that raises and lowers like a toll bar. That is where Shannon and other protesters were able to get to before the police kicked them out. And then the alley behind the bank is what we were kicked out of, claiming that it was a private alley. Something else that I would encourage people to do, and I'm terrible at it. Oh, thank you so much. SB from afar. Oh, it took me the longest time to figure out what that was. And Jerry Lynn, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. SP from afar. Love that. At first I thought, wow, that's just letters on a keyboard. Thank you, no one. Yeah, now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back up a little bit on the police. I don't think that it's 100% rotten apples. If we look down the alley, there's a moving truck down there, but that's all the way down by the residences. The church is halfway up the road here. Even the first two police really didn't want to arrest her, and it was the sergeant's direction. The sergeant directed Officer Karma to make the arrest. Now, I'm going to say they were pricks for the giggling and the trivializing of what had occurred. And that was a complaint. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Not even COPA cares about rude behavior from the police. Yeah, I'm going to say that I thought that they were rather gentle in that regard. But again, I will say that the professionalism was atrocious. Absolutely. Now, I will say one of the most joyful times that night was just watching Juanita and Helly and the chat and Korn crack one another's selves up with the new terminology that we had, right? We need to get the hammer time. What is it? No, don't hurt him, hammer. Can't touch this. So far we've seen Jess come down here. Jess had somebody out. This is Nation of Islam. We've seen her several times before. I don't know if she will come out. She's probably asking, should we close the doors? Nice. I believe that there's going to be some door shutting soon. But another one, she was going to walk out of the org, and she stopped and reversed direction. So I don't know if they're afraid that I have cooties or what that process is. Yes. One of the things that I really love at night is that these shades are basically see-through at night, so I can see all the way back to the back door, and I can typically get all the way around before somebody can exit the alley. Oops. Howdy, Rhonda. Yeah, I'm going to say that I understand that that violence was a larger part of their history. I'm not positive that I'm overly concerned right now. And I just don't know how strong they think they are anymore either. Have a good trip, Corn. one thing that I'm gonna, I'm not the guy that's gonna get up in somebody's face and yell at them, right? That we have plenty of people that's their format of protesting, and that's awesome. I just have no need to do that. I used to always tell people when they'd argue with me that if you have to raise your voice, then you don't really have a good point, right? Yeah, Jessica and the other person are coming up the street right now. We'll see if we can get Jessica to talk today. Absolutely. I'll say that they're not small, but they're not massive either. I will give it my best effort. And again, if you email me, I'll try even harder to be here. If you email me and just send me a note that says, hey, please let me know when you're going out, that's even helpful. Because you'll get a little blast every time that I'm coming out here. I'm going to say that I don't blast people when I'm coming out here from already being downtown, but on the weekends when I come down here, I absolutely will do that. So we'll ask some questions here. Hey, Jessica, do you think it's okay that women can't report sexual abuse when it's committed by another Scientologist? Is it okay that Danny Masterson's victims weren't able to come to the police for 20 years because Scientology wouldn't let them talk? And the first time that the women and the victims did come forward, they were disconnected? Does that seem right? As a female, do you think that's okay? I'm going to say that I usually talk to the staff member knowing that it's a brick wall, but the other person hearing that, it's got to be sinking in. And Danny Masterson is such an easy thing to search on the internet. That's what let's see here. It's an unfortunate side effect of Lisa McPherson's troubled life ending is that it's easily searchable. Anybody doing any research can see that the church does incredibly nefarious activities. Now, the person that was with Jessica there was in civilian clothes, right? So maybe that's his first time that he's been in there. It's strange that that they bought food for him, or that I don't know, they bought food for them. They went to go get some food. Yeah, the executives that have come forward with their stories of violence is ridiculous, and that's easy to search as well. So, I have no idea how many times that person that we just saw go in has had contact with this organization. Howdy, Pippi. Thanks for coming in. Doors still open, no speakers. I was thinking about that this morning when we were on live, or when you were on live, and I'm going to reach out on that. There's the vast majority of what I really want to hit on right now, and it's kind of acute, is the F Steptoe BS, right? Don't tell me that I'm not being productive here, right? I don't think that I would be productive in Clearwater, but I have evidence that people have not joined this church because of the activities that I've done. I have collected at least 50 flyers that have been handed out. So there's no way to get me to believe that what we're doing as protesters doesn't have an effect. Now, I'm not going to say that's the same effect that all predecessors have. I feel very good about what I've been able to do. But I'm using the word I a lot. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, right? I'm not a second gen. I'm not an ex-Scientologist who had to suffer these abuses. But having been made aware of them, I'm no longer willing to tolerate them. This is the easiest email to get a hold of me, and I'm usually pretty good about responding to it. And then the other one I want to put out there is both of these URLs are the same website. So whether you go to wctw.live or windycityphaetonwatch.com, you're going to the same spot. I did put another blog post up today. It was basically the 8 dynamics that are out there, and I'm putting together kind of a sarcastic, sardonic animated short on that. Still, my favorite video so far is the Darth Vader video, where, if you remember the old Volkswagen commercial where the young boy was trying to, oh, more Scientology. Anything positive about the church you care to share with us today? Just nothing positive about the church? Is today casual Monday? Yeah, I do have to get better at some of those questions as well. Just going up, we've got some college kids coming in. Sorry, coming by. Oh, well, I'm happy about the news. I don't know how happy you guys are. I think we hit 1,500 subscribers today. So that's excellent. I really appreciate that. I'm also very grateful that you've been very consistent. Like, I love that I'm seeing so many familiar names in the chat, and that the vast majority of all conversations that I'm seeing going on are incredibly civil, right? Every once in a while we'll have a troll in here. They're usually dispatched pretty quickly. Yeah, so I do have the high zoom on, because I always feel like if I'm on that out one and I'm in the alley, you're not seeing anything. Now the downside is, right, I'm only, 15 feet away from the door, and I can't get the entire top to bottom of the door. So, but I think it does give you a better point of view. And also, let me know, which one works out better. Do we like it better on the zoomed out, or the tighter, or the I guess the wider shot? Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. And I think that's really important and powerful. And again, the more people that we can get to send in notes, phone calls, letters, snail mail. If you saw, was it Sunday morning before Natalie's, I did a live, and I went over, the mayor has both a Twitter and an Instagram account. You know what, I need to get off my butt and get the body cam, so that I don't really have to worry about this quite as much. But you're right, Michael. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that I tend not to get right up in somebody's face. I will say that I've had, the homeless people have been right next to me a couple of times. So that was probably riskier than I needed to be. All right, we'll go back to the. So now you've got the wide lens as well, and the only thing you miss here is, and actually you guys don't miss it because I'm just telling you what's going on down the alley. It's very hard for me then afterwards to cut together a video showing that. The other one, if there's more than one person out here, I'd be more than happy to put a second phone on its tripod as long as there were people that were staying here. And that way we always have the wide establishing shot, because I do want to be able to be mobile. And when I do see the body routers going out, I want to be able to follow them. Yeah, you know what? I think I have a different experience than the women do, and I'm going to go with. I think they try to intimidate the women, and I understand that there's a sexist connotation to that. I think it's very true that if you watch how Chadwicke reacts to any of the female protesters, it's much different than how he reacts to myself or Jubair, Israel Brownstein, sorry. Beta, you're always a help when you're out here, and I really appreciate that. But right, that idea that we have that wide establishing shot, so you're always going to have after the fact evidence in there. And I think that I could actually just do two cameras, so I could have that one showing as well as my mobile phone going until I got out of range of the other camera. Yeah, I mean, these guys are pretty smart about how to do this. Thank you, Sir Cryptidus. I'm thinking about that. What I'd really like to do is a pocket tee. So I like t-shirts that have a pocket up there, and on the pocket put the skyline. Basically the CTW that you see on there. Where we got, is this Denver J coming in? I appreciate that. Thank you, Denver, and all the folks coming in from Denver. So far, when I first got here, the windows were up. There was, I would say, a civilian, so I don't know if it was somebody who was, going in to look at videos or not, sitting down inside. There were only, oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. That's awesome. There was somebody inside in the first alley or the first row of video banks, and we saw two people being escorted out with staff members so that they could get past me. I still did what I could to let them know some of the atrocities of the cult that is trying to recruit them right now. Howdy, Corroded Pixel. Right now it's 4:30 here. We've been here for about 45 minutes. We've made contact with two body routers, Jessica being one of them, and we were able to make contact twice. The other body router was skateboard guy, the young guy with the tall blonde hair that oftentimes comes to the skateboard. And they walked into Urban Pantry. Nice. always love when the Denver folks come in. MLH, Jay, just I think that they do phenomenal jobs on their channels. And I know there's new people that are showing up in Denver. The contagiousness of this protest is remarkable. And the idea that really many of us have not been victimized by this, but having heard the victimization stories, we want to give voice to the second gens and the X's. I'm going to say that there are, people have challenged me sometimes that, hey, there's other cults that do the same thing. It's like, no, I don't think there's other cults that do the same thing. But yeah, we know that the Catholic Church has had some problems. We know that, the sexual abuse is something that's occurred there. The Catholic Church, I think, is still the largest landowner in the world. You've got Jehovah's Witnesses who are similar to this. I just don't think they're quite as overt as Scientology is. Jehovah's Witness, they recruit quite a bit. They're out recruiting quite a bit. I don't know how effective that is. But something I mentioned in the chat before, I see them at least once a day, whether it's a bus station, a train station, near the park. And they really just stand behind their podium that's got the flyers on it. So they're not really actively or active in confronting people and trying to recruit them. And I know that Maryland came out of a high control group. The Mormons, right, being a high control group, and I don't know. I assume there's a spectrum of how the high control works there, because there's the faction that doesn't believe in polygamy anymore, and then there's the faction that I don't know if they're broke away or if they're a subset of, but they're still very active in polygamy spaces. And this is the enemy that I've chosen. I'm happy that others have chosen other enemies. I can't be effective trying to shut down every cult in the universe. It's very quiet here. If everybody's okay, I think I'm going to try and see if we can go over to Dearborn again. Just not seeing much activity right here. Let's go over to Dearborn and State to see if there are any body routers out. And I saw a few comments about the mods. I'm incredibly grateful about this group of mods, and they work so well together. I think that they've got us covered. When we get in trouble, they're on the phone call. They're making phone calls to significant others and to legal authorities to try to make sure that everybody's okay. Many of the people either have my email or my phone number, and if they're seeing something down here and they think that I can help, I'm getting calls and texts. I saw what was happening to Nance unfold. Unfortunately, I had some family obligations that I had to take care of. But once my family was able to go to sleep, I was immediately down here and was able to see Nance as she was released. I'm going to run real quick. So we're on Harrison right now. We've got a lot of new people in here. If you see at the end of the street, there's a building that's at the T intersection. That is Roosevelt's, one of Roosevelt's college housing or student housing locations. We know that right next to the building is Columbia College. This is an incredibly rich area for residents. Not all of them are college students. It's a recently gentrified, 10 years ago, you did not want to really be found down here. If you were down here after night, you probably weren't going to make it till sunrise. but it's such a gentrified area, retail all over the place. Every one of these streets is just retail at the bottom, at the street level, and residential above. Push forward another block. I don't see anybody, so I keep the camera stable and you guys moving forward, but I'm looking left and right to see if I can find the body routers. The most common indicator is, it's a warm day right now, so they'd have a gold vest, or from the back it's gold, from the front it's blue, and the white shirt. So they're rather easy to find. This street right here, Plymouth Court, it's another place where we've seen Scientology's members living. It's usually the more veteran or elder staff members in there. One of the things that I'm most grateful for about the mods is the idea that when I'm out here and if I'm engaged with somebody having a conversation or discussion, I want to be present with that person that I'm talking to. And I feel confident that the mods are making sure that the chat's not going nuts. I think it's important to let people know that I'm present with them on the street, and they're not an afterthought in regards to what's going on. So now we're down to State Street. This building right here that I just walked around is Jones College Prep. It's a magnet school, so that's a high school. You test into that. That is the highest prestige school in the magnet system, followed by the likes of Gordon Tech, Lane Tech, Whitney Young. But the perennial is Jones College Prep. As we keep coming down, okay, residential on the shiny building. The red brick in the back is the Hilton. The building ahead of me is residential on top, retail on the bottom. The white building ahead of us is the Congress Hotel. If you look down here, the taller white building right next to the blue is Robert Morris. The shorter one that's in front of it is Roosevelt University. The one with the mural of the moose blowing a bubblegum, that's more Columbia College. We're still not seeing people out here. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I thought one day I'd have 100 subscribers, and that was going to be, I was going to be happy with that. And I'm also very happy with the stickiness of the people that have subscribed. And by the way, for you that aren't subscribed, it's free. It costs no money. You click a button, and you'll be notified when I come out here. The black building down there, Columbia College. Here you're seeing a band from Columbia College. As we move forward, again, we've got the Congress Hotel on the left. Grant Park is ahead of us. Still kind of got my eyes scanning. Hey, Michael, if you're still in here, what can I expect to be the duration or the battery life of a body camera? And is it fisheyed so that you can, that if somebody was close enough to you, you'd get a pretty good coverage of it? I would very much dissuade you from doing that. You know, I don't know how if they've got a presence there. And if in India there's national, so there might be. Is there nationalized religions? So, sorry, Columbia College. We're seeing this is the Museum of Contemporary Art. Sorry, Museum of Contemporary Photography. So again, we're just seeing tons and tons of college students who are in such a close radius to this organization. Howdy, Danielle. Another fun video is one of the most recent shorts. I keep on catching the body routers. They're trying to come out the door and they run right into me and I'll just shrink back. But one of them reminded me so much of Homer Simpson that I just created I synced up the two cameras so Homer Simpson fades into the bush just as the Scientologist fades back into the organization. Yep. The site that Amy is speaking about is sptv.space, and that's .space, not the space symbol. Ooh, just got dark as I turned this corner. I might get wet. This theater is the DePaul University Theater. It's a rather small footprint for DePaul, that it's really only the theater students, and they pretty much only do shows as well as practices here. So the theater department is not in this building for DePaul. On any given Sunday, all you have to do is find a body router that got past me. Howdy, Pop Groomer. Welcome in. This is Columbia College again, and Vote for Women. And I'm speaking to Kamala Harris. Sorry. As we go look further down, you can see there's East-West University is another university right down the street. Sorry about that, guys. I was doing a dance blocking those people from being able to make their corner. This is a neat place. This is Buddy Guy's Legends. If you're a blues fan, great place to go. I used to work very close to here, and at lunchtime, you would just come down here, have yourself a sandwich and a soda, and the bands would all just be jamming out, having a good time. I say bands, the musicians, because blues traditionally doesn't have bands. Looking back over here, right, we've got a great shot of the Sears Tower, but you've got some dark skies in the back. It's moving fast, so even if it does come down today, I think that it's going to come very, very fast. Hello, Paraditology. We're running across, so we're at State. We've got to go across Dearborn, and then we'll be back to Clark. So 1 block south, 2 blocks west. If you haven't yet, and the mods will be more than happy to post it for you, make sure that you're writing or calling Bill Conway, the Ward 34 alderman. He's the alderman in charge of the Church of Scientology's location, or the area where the Church of Scientology is, as well as Brendan Johnson and COPA, C-O-P-A, Citizens Organization for, darn it, Police, not transparency, but another one that starts with P for transparency. I'm still scanning quite a bit with the eyes just to see if I can catch the white dress shirts of the Scientologists. Accountability, thank you. Citizens Organization of Police for Police Accountability, COPA. That is an independent organization. Typically, investigations start with them, but if they don't think they can get much action out of it, they'll give it back to the police, to their IA, internal investigations, or internal affairs. And usually, if it makes it back to internal affairs, the cops gotten away with it. So. Still not seeing any activity down here. We have seen several org members who have been in civilian clothes today. As we get back to the org, if there's no real activity going on there, I'm probably going to think about shutting it down and head home, grab some dinner with family. If I could ask the mods to look up some lives that we can raid. Again, thank you for all the J Raiders, Denver Scientology Audit, and Corroded Pixels. Where is Jay right now? I know that he was on his way to LA, but I don't know where he was. In Salt Lake City this weekend. Where's he at now? Now we're heading north on Clark. I can see that the Scientology door is still open. Nice. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Ellie. And I will do some reviews on body cameras and see if I can get that on the wish list. I might come back down with the drone again. Whenever there's a lot of people out here, and again, I know it's a bit of a sacrifice to the channel, but it's not. I'm not here for the channel. If we've got a lot of channels out here, I'll bring the drone to kind of get the establishing shots for them. Yeah, the shades are still down. As I walked up the street, I saw nobody from Scientology. Yeah, we're not seeing anybody here. The shade tech is not strong here, right? That gap's a little bit too much. So. Yep, door's still open. Nobody really inside. So. I'm going to say, I think this is good. I have no idea what the context on that was. And by the way, I love baked with butter. Yeah, so we know that Imprint has many people in the same studio apartment, anywhere from 6 to 9 people. I do think that they did get some heat for that, and that's why we're seeing Scientology spread out their staff members to other spaces. Still not sure that Scientology would pay for staff members, but again, this urban area, it would be very challenging for a staff member to be able to make the money required and still spend enough time down here. Okay. Mods, if we can start finding out who our raid victim will be. Let's get everybody ready for that. I really appreciate everybody being here today. Not much activity. You know, we did see, we were able to give some information to Jessica's victim. That was great. We got the blinds down pretty quickly. Still found that nobody in Scientology is willing to say there's anything good about Scientology. Never doubted it for a minute, Ellie. And when I get on the train, I will join you in our new space. That makes sense, but I would say this, that they could get in trouble if the water causes civilians to have to walk around. That could be a problem for them. Thank you, Jerlyn. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. All right, we're headed over to Brain Fog. Bye, everybody. All right, so waving doesn't work well.